What's up, YouTube? Back here with another champion concept video. Today we're going to be going over a AD carry concept that I created. A AD carry known as Hailn, or as I dubbed him in my project, Necro-Archer. And we'll kind of get into why that is once we show the kit. But like always, if you guys like these sort of concept videos, please like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you guys think. And also let me know if there's any champions that you would like to see me create or rework in the future. So let's get right into the video. So with Hailn, this champion concept came to me from wanting to see a necromancer champion in the game, for one. The closest thing that we do have is Yorick, who can summon ghouls, and I like that. But I wanted to see it done in a more overwhelming way, I guess. And that's kind of what I did with Hailn. So he is a AD marksman who is kind of dubbed, I dubbed him the Necro-Archer when I was creating him. So Hailn, the Arbiter of Fallen Favor. Like I did in my past video, I will post a lore for this champion down below. Link, it'll take you to my Reddit page where you guys can view the lore if you guys want to check that out. But we'll get right into his kit. So his passive is known as Skeletal Hardened Shell. When Hailn drops below at least 30% HP, Hailn gains converted bonus armor based on the total amount of attack damage that he has. As Hailn's health drops further, he will gain more armor. This goes from about 10% of his AD into converted armor into 35% of his AD, total AD into converted armor. This is a strength for him. Being a marksman who can be picked into bruisers, into AD assassins, makes him slightly more tanky, so he can deal with being dove, maybe being in a side lane, having to 1v1 a Talon, a Zed, a Kha'Zix, those type of things. What he's weak against, though, he has a clear weakness against magic damage champions. He has armor stacking in his passive, which means he's going to be good against AD champions. Pick somebody who's AP into him in the bot lane, whether it's a Brand, Vel'Koz, Victor, Ziggs. You're going to put up a good fight against him just as a base sort of counter for him. His passive works very similar to Olaf's passive, and how as his health drops he gains more attack speed. Think of it in that sort of sense. As his health drops, whatever the amount of AD that he actually has will be just converted into armor. It's just making him slightly more tanky, not giving him more health per se, just giving him some more armor. His Q is known as Bone Quiver, has a cooldown of 16 to 9 with a range of 475 to 950. This is a charged skill shot. Think Varus Q. It's kind of the idea of this. Hailn charges his bow up, firing a bone arrow in target direction, dealing physical damage. If the arrow strikes an enemy champion, this will deal physical damage, plus the bone arrow will transform into a conjured bone cage, trapping the target for 3 seconds. The cage can be destroyed. It has a 3-hit HP bar, but cannot be flash escaped. So if a target gets caught in this, they can cleanse it, they can auto attack it, but they cannot flash out of this cage. So that makes it a very, very unique ability. This is good for poking. This is also just good for, this is like a weird mix of, you can compare it to like a Thresh Q and a Varus Q combined into one ability. Has a lot of unique just poking ability as well as CC to it. So targets are going to want to dodge this. Definitely are going to want to dodge this ability. This also makes it so in the bot lane, you technically don't need to play, a support that has a lot of CC. You can, but if you're playing, let's say, a Vel'Koz, let's say you're playing, something a little off meta, you can play with this character and use Hailn as the initiator for CC, just giving the bot lane a unique appearance. His second ability is Banishing Dirk. This has a cooldown of 22 to 14. This is a melee ranged ability, which is a select target. So when the target steps in melee range, you're able to click on them. So think of a Talon Q. Hailn stabs his target with his Nightingale dagger, dealing physical damage. Last hitting a minion or monster with this ability will refund the mana used from the ability and reduce his Banishing Dirk's cooldown by 50 to 75%. This scales with the level. If the target is an enemy champion, if you damage an enemy target, basically if you click on an enemy target, Banishing Dirk deals physical damage plus bonus magic damage based on target's missing HP. Also, cloaking Hailn in stealth for 3 to 6 seconds based on level. Last hitting effect on this. Last hitting an enemy minion with Banishing Dirk will reanimate them as a fallen minion. They will be green in color, or they'll have a greenish hue to them. Fallen minions deal 25% more damage and also take 25% more damage. Fallen minions will fight for Hailn until death, or a 12-second timer expires. Same gold as Mal's Voidlings and half the experience as normal minions. So this ability has a lot built into it. So for one, this ability can be used as a last hit effect for minions and monsters, just to last hit minions. This also can be used as a auto attack reset, which is a little strange since he is a melee. Since he is a ranged target and using a melee attack. So, using it, to farm sort of as somebody would with Darius W, being able to refund the mana, just, killing enemies. However, damaging an enemy champion with this attack will deal damage plus magic damage, as well as cloaking Hailn. This is good for if you're getting dove, let's say by a Talon, a Fizz, something where they're trying to dive you under turret. As long as you can get this attack off, you can go in stealth. This will give you a few seconds to recuperate, maybe gain a cooldown or so to escape, and plan your next move. But the big part of this ability is going to be the passive effect, which allows Hailn to reanimate fallen minions. This is very, very cool. This is the necromancer effect that I was talking about, part of it, where you're able to basically split push with fallen minions. Now, the 12-second timer that I put on here could be extended. I don't think they should just be around until they just die fully. I think that and having a timer effect on there will be good, because you can just continue stacking minions. But that is kind of the point, is that if you go into a minion wave and let's say your cooldown, let's say you have 30% over cooldown, you're gonna be able to do this every few seconds. Especially if you're able to last hit them and gain the 50 to 75% cooldown reduction. You're just gonna be able to last hit minions every single time, and which is gonna constantly have the wave pushing in your favor. So a very, very unique ability, like I said, and this actually will cater to another ability down the road here once we get into it. The third ability is Chaining Victim. This has a cooldown of 18 to 14, range of 500, and then a secondary range of 300, and a third range of 350. We'll kind of get into what those mean. So this is the skill shot. Hailn fires a tethering bolt, which has two separate effects. So one is if you fire this at a target terrain, targeted area becomes trapped. Trap is not destructible. The closest enemy becomes chained to target or trapped area. Dealt physical damage on impact, and reducing their movement speed down, their movement range down to 300 from the trapped area. This has a duration of 5 seconds. So, first of all, you throw this on an enemy, on like an enemy area. Let's say you have a Talon, they parkour over the wall. They move over this terrain. This bolt will come out, grab them, pull them into that area, and then they cannot move from that zone for 5 seconds. They cannot destroy it. They're just stuck. They are stuck there for 5 seconds. Now they can move within that area, and there'll be a little light that kind of flashes on that area that will show that, hey, this area has a trap on it, so people can avoid it. The second one is if you fired the Chaining Victim at an enemy champion. This will deal physical damage and slows target for 20 seconds for 20% for 2 seconds. If there is a second enemy champion within 100 radius of the first targeted champion, they will become tethered together for 4 seconds. Tethered targets cannot move outside of 350 range from each other. So kind of the same concept as the first effect, but now it is between two different champions. So again, let's say we have a Talon and we have a support champion, let's say like a Thresh, and they're moving up to dive you underneath the turret. If you can hit one of these targets with this ability, it will channel for about 2 seconds, and then once that slow goes away, the closest enemy champion will be tethered to that champion. So now, let's say they dive you and then they go under, they start taking turret aggro, and you chain both of them underneath this turret. They can't move. They have to walk out together, and which can cause a lot of distress from them, and can be a good playmaking potential for you to maybe get a kill while they are under turret. Now, both of these can be cleansed. They can be Mikhail Crucibled. Spell Shield works against it as well. So there are some ways to get around being chained, but generally most of these champions are going to get stuck. This is a good zoning tool. This is a good way of just being able to counter dive. What I mean by that is, if someone's trying to dive you, you're able to counter them before they can actually even get the dive off by maybe sticking them to a wall, and then you can throw down your Q, CC them again. You got a few different tools there, but the real fun part is going to be in his ultimate, which is called Defiled Crossbones. So this has a cooldown of 260 to 160, and the ranges here don't really matter too much. But Hailn conjures a dark mattered mist from the fallen souls around him, animating itself as a skeletal crossbone projectile. This is a global skill shot, by the way. So as this skill shot moves across the map, this is not stopped by any sort of obstacle. So like Jinx ult, Ashe ult, Draven ult. When the dark mist passes over enemy minions and monsters, these targets become frenzied. Frenzied, this is a new effect that I've added to the game. So what happens is when targets are frenzied, they will attack the closest unit to them, regardless of ally or enemy. If enemy champions are inflicted by the dark mist, all frenzied affected minions and monsters within proximity, I said about 400 range, will be aggroed to that target minion. So that's the first part of this ability. So all enemy minions and monsters, this includes monsters, this doesn't include red buff, blue buff, this does not include Baron and Dragon, but all the other camps this includes in the jungle. So if this passes over them, they will start attacking each other. Or if they pass over an enemy champion and that enemy champion is close. So let's say somebody is clearing a super minion wave bot side. They get hit with this. Not only will your minions be aggroed to them, but all of their minions will be aggroed to them. So it's going to stop them from pushing. This effect will last about 6 seconds. Not 6 seconds. I think this will last about 20 seconds or so. If minions are killed while aggro, these are minions, not so much monsters, so not jungle monsters, but minions. If minions are killed while frenzied, they will reanimate into fallen minions, which will then have the same effect as the passive from his second ability. This does not affect super minions, and this does not affect large monster camps. So this is a very interesting way to push waves. You are able to reanimate a bunch of fallen enemies. You can aggro both your minions and the opposing minions to a champion, which will stop them from being able to push a wave out. This is just a very good way to control the map. And with Hailn, he is a marksman. With all of these abilities, you're going from his passive to his W being able to go invisible, and it's a melee attack. Being able to use his passive from that and his ultimate to basically rejuvenate a minion push, and being able to push a wave even farther than you probably should be able to. His Q having CC, his E having CC. He can be played in other lanes. He could be played as an AD carry. I think he could be played as a mid laner against certain AD mids. He can be played top lane, sort of like as a Vayne or Quinn are being played top lane. He has a lot of different variety in his kit, and I think his overall effectiveness is going to be able to pick a champion who has good CC and who could endlessly push waves, generally. So no, I don't think there's any other AD carry in the game who actually can fit this role that Hailn can. But you guys let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is Hailn, like I said, and I will post all of this as well down below in my Reddit thread, so you guys can check out that as well. And like always, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.